when I first left home and playing junior hockey and wanting to play in the NHL, there was no really pick for me, and fortunate I was picked in the city that I knew, played my junior hockey in, and it was a bonus for me. And then the Griffiths family giving me the opportunity, and then John McCaw and now Francisco coming in. What was really interesting for me and lucky for me is that I watched the Canucks on a regular basis. Punch got us into the games free for the Canuck games. We used to have standing room and get there early enough that you'd be able to watch them. So I really knew what type of team that the Canucks were. And when I was drafted, I knew that I could be a player that could fit into their system really well. So it was very comfortable for me as a player going in to the NHL city, which it can be very intimidating for a young player, but it wasn't for me. And also knowing what type of team they had, what type of players that they had, that I knew there was a job open for me, but I had to go and play my game and respect the individuals around me, but not over-respecting that it hurt your game.
As he entered his NHL career, the Canucks were about to become younger and more international.
The chemistry was a key part of that, and in my first couple of years, there was the influence of the European players coming in, and we had a big impact with that. And I think along with some of the younger players, Kurt Fraser and myself coming in, and feeling our way through and taking jobs from other players at that time that have been there for a while, and just kind of building up from there. And when that happens, it takes time, I think, to get that chemistry working together. And fortunately, when you match up against the Broad Street Bullies, the Philadelphias, that you really you need the support of your teammate going in. And when you get some results and some wins, it brought the team together.
A team coming of age, enhanced by a Swedish invasion.
Not only just with going after players, they brought in some real skill within the team. They wanted an upgrade in that department. But along with the skill, these guys are character guys. Lars Lindgren and Lars Molin, and more so Thomas Gradin. He really had an influence in my game, watching the skill and the skating abilities that I had to keep up to him. I was forced to keep up to him, and it's something that I wanted. But you know what, as much as he was a skilled player, he dished out a lot that people didn't see that I noticed out there, and he wasn't the guy that was afraid to go into the corners and played that type of way. So, it was a good mix for me, myself as a player, and then having Kurt Fraser on the left side. But there was an influence of the Europe players coming over at that time.
For 13 years, he was the heart and soul of the organization. For 13 years, his was the standard of work ethic against which all would be measured. For 13 years, he was the Steamer. A ferocious competitor, knew he had to call it quits.
Mentally, I think players feel like they can go on, and if you take care of the body takes care of you. But after a while, I think for myself personally, playing in the West Coast and the amount of traveling as opposed to a lot of East Coast teams, it caught up to me. So mentally, yes, I felt like I could keep going, but physically, I know my body was very thankful for myself in the end that I did retire.
Up in the rafter hangs, he's the only one we have up there, hangs his sweater and number, and it'll never be worn again unless he decides to let it be worn again. Stan.
I think you have to work hard to get rewarded in the end, and I was brought up in my family, and that was my key skill, if you want to call it, was my work habits on the ice, and kept me in the NHL. And it still is now, off ice and traveling around and seeing things. So it's very unique, but it's been very unique with the people that I work for, that I've always respected what they've done also.